What are we here for? What are we here to do? Are we here to stack up possessions? Are we here to have money? Are we here to get rich and be famous and look cool and do cool things and make other people jealous of our experiences? No. One of the most amazing things that I heard recently was from Gary Vee, who we all know and respect in a lot of his perspectives and views on things. But one of the things that he said that really struck a point with me, and I aligned with it because it resonated with how I carry myself and try to present myself, or how I aim, not try, how I aim to present myself. I have caught myself doing it before, and I'm doing my best to not do these things anymore, but it's making sure that I'm not just here saying things to speak. I'm not just here doing stuff to do it. I'm here to provide value. If money is of so much value, why can't we take it with us? Why isn't there a bank account that I can carry on with my soul or my spirit and be like, oh, I have my account balance over here. I want to take it on to the next lifetime. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my dear friends, I've got my notes here until I get some new equipment that's going to allow me to do things a little bit more how I want to do them. But I'm trying to make this more professional for y'all because, you know, it's the how. And anyone that rocks with the how, y'all already know I'm all about that quality. You know what I'm saying? So I dressed up for y'all. Got my hair all nice and, you know what I'm saying, clean for you. You know, I got pretty for y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, had to get ready, man, because, you know, I take this seriously. And today, I wanted to speak to you guys about value and purpose. What is value? Like, what is value to you? And how it relates to purpose. Traditionally, what we understand as value is something that we hold in high regard, something that we want to accumulate. You know, money, gems, material items, assets, clothes that are fancy because the branding was done very well, cars, jewels, diamonds. You know, some of us want to accumulate and value experiences. I'm one of those people. What is value to you? To me, value largely is applied to my values. Honesty, living in integrity, having respect for others, treating people how I want to be treated, being the light, the being that I want to encounter in the world. Be that which you would like to encounter. Is value defined by what's around you? How do you find value? How do you define purpose? And how are they related? For me, what I value has largely to do with my values. Living in honesty and integrity, having respect, applying my direct intention to having consciousness and conscientiousness. What's the difference between consciousness and conscientiousness? Well, conscious is being aware, right? And consciousness is the act of being aware. And the act of applying awareness. And conscientiousness is largely reflective of how you are aware of others and how things that you do affect others. So being conscientious is a good thing. I highly value being conscientious and being thoughtful and considerate of how my actions affect others, not throwing me off my, alignment and getting me on some curved wavelengths that I'm not on, but while staying true to myself and still applying what I find to be of the highest consciousness. Because the way I live my life, and you can speak to anybody that's known me for 20 plus years, and I've said this many times, you can ask them Oroku Saki, you can ask Ronald Black, you can ask Miss Mai, you can ask my mother. The way that I live my life is I live my life, and this might sound funny to some people, but I live my life how I imagine Buddha, Gandhi, Muhammad, Confucius, Jesus, the highest elevated, enlightened, revered spiritual teachers of the ages. I do my best to walk in the light of how I believe they would behave. Am I always able to do this? No, but I do my best to follow that path and trajectory. And as long as I use that as an outline for how I'm trying to follow along in my path, then hey man, I think I can do pretty well. And from the reflection of my peers, some people call me Honorable How, and it's because I do my best to only carry myself in honorable ways. What is the meaning of life? What are we here for? What are we here to do? Are we here to stack up possessions? Are we here to have money? Are we here to get rich and be famous and look cool and do cool things and make other people jealous of our experiences? No. And I'm not saying that all of you out there doing these things are doing that for that purpose, but one of the most amazing things that I heard recently was from Gary Vee, who we all know and respect in a lot of his perspectives and views on things. But one of the things that he said that really struck a point with me, and I aligned with it because it resonated with how I carry myself and try to present myself, or how I aim, not try, how I aim to present myself. I have caught myself doing it before, and I'm doing my best to not do these things anymore, but it's making sure that I'm not just here saying things to speak. I'm not just here doing stuff to do it. I'm here to provide value. So I'm using my experiences, my knowledge that I've gained over the past 40 years plus, and I'm doing my best to help others be in position to avoid making the same mistakes that I have previously made. If money is of so much value, why can't we take it with us? Why isn't there a bank account that I can carry on with my soul or my spirit and be like, oh, I have my account balance over here. I want to take it on to the next lifetime. It's because, do you know what money is? Money is no different than a clock. Money has been used for good and for bad, just the way time has been used for good and for bad. And what do I mean by that? It's used as an instrument or weapon, you could say, of control. An organization, organization in the middle, instrument on the positive side for creativeness and opportunity and beautiful things, and a weapon, control, domination, destruction, oppression on the other side, right? And so it's just like pretty much anything you can imagine. Something can be a tool, it can be an instrument for creative expression, or it can be a weapon for destruction. And so it's largely up to the artist, the mechanic, the holder of said item on what they will do with it, right? And so that's important. That's an important part of that. It has a lot to do with who is holding said instrument. Think clearly. Think about how you want to be represented in this world. What will the impact be when you're gone? how are others going to speak of you and remember you when you're not here anymore? You know, one of the things that I thought of, and I've heard this said before, was that not just what was said before, but in my own personal experiences, you know, I've been to more funerals than I'd like to acknowledge that I've been to. I don't like funerals. I don't think anyone does. You know, I've had some close people pass uh, untimely in recent times. But one of the things that I noticed, I've heard this say before, which is why I reflect on it and I speak on it, is that nobody, I never went and heard in any eulogy or heard in any people that knew the person speaking about them and were saying, how much money they had, how much money they spent, how much money they gave. The only things that I really heard about people were stories, experiences, how that person made people feel, what kind of good things that person brought to the table when they were around, the kind of vibes that they had, how they treated people, how they made people laugh, how they were loving, how they were caring, how X person, in the family loved them so much because they were so amazing and they always made them feel so understood. And all these things that are, physical intangibles, they're feelings. And it's based off of how you carry yourself, which should tell you a lot. You hear of qualities and characteristics. You hear of heart and humor. You hear of how they made people feel. As I spoke on earlier, what do I see greatly tied to value? Purpose. So many people are in search of their purpose. And in having a deep, higher level consciousness, intellectual conversation with my good brother, Aristotle the Great, I realized something, that I have my purpose, through all of the things that I've been through. And I've been through many things in my lifetimes. I have been through many lifetimes, but in this lifetime, as Zen, lost loves, crazy things that have happened in relationships, betrayal from friends. I've had a lot of betrayal from friends that I did nothing but help and support and have their back and do everything I could to give them everything that I could to help their lives become uh, higher and more fulfilling in the best that I could. I've been betrayed by many of those people. I've had bosses who didn't keep their word, that were deceitful, that broke promises that were made, you know. Um, and you know the fire that happened in 2013, and my lady and stepson got burnt in the fire, and I remember them getting sent to separate hospitals, and pulling up to the area where my house was, and already freaking out because I got the call while I'm in the middle of the city and hadn't gone out in a while, and my lady was screaming and talking about how the house was on fire, my face is on fire, because she went in to try to put out the fire. Her hair caught on fire and it fell on her face and it like burnt the half side of her face. And so like, going through those kind of traumas, and then, breaking up, and then, going and staying with my friend, and thank God for them. Thank God for them. Big shout out to you guys. You know who you are. They took me in. I still remember my boy's mom, and I love you for this forever. I remember walking up to the apartment where they were staying, and uh, I remember like I had just broke up with my girl, and and the fire, and lost everything, and all my shit. Most of my valuable shit was in my stepson's room, and his room got incinerated, and everything was lost in there. I had like over $10,000 worth of suits and all that shit. It just was like incinerated to nothingness. And then, you know what I mean? I just had like pretty much all my possessions were like in this box. And I remember like walking up to the door, and my boy's mom was like, "Welcome home." And it was just like, wow, bro, that was such a beautiful, like, she made me feel so good. Like, thank you so much. I love you so much for that. Like, Man, but anyway, like I remember, like also like sleeping at my boy's house, and like being a man in his 30s, and like being in a position where like I'm sleeping on the floor, bro. I'm a grown ass man. The only time I get to sleep on the bed is when my boy would go out to be with a woman, right? And so then it'd be like a double weird thing. I'm without my girl. I got no spot. I had never, as an adult, not have my own place. I had always had my own place. Always had been a head of household and either had roommates or lived with my family or whatever. Like this was my first time as a grown man, like sleeping on another person's floor, and then I'm like sleeping in his bed because it's like nice to sleep in the bed when you're sleeping on the floor. You know what I'm saying? But he's over there smashing or whatever, excuse my language, but you know what I'm saying, or the content inference, you know what I'm saying? But suggestion, I should say, the content suggestion. But I mean, this is real life, man. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm only saying that to say that through all those things, the deception from the bosses, the betrayal of friends, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations of my love life, and all the different things that I've been through, the mistakes that I've made with bad decisions with money, and all those things. One thing through all that, through depression and losing my place, and like only experiencing really depression for real one true time in my life after being betrayed another time, which like for some reason betrayal is a big thing in my life. I've experienced it so many times by people that I've done nothing but helped and supported and been there for and did my best for. So there's definitely, I'm not blaming anyone for that. I'm actually taking full responsibility for that. uh, I believe in taking responsibility for every single possible thing you can in your life, and I'll speak on that in another video at another time. But I say that to say, I'm not, I don't believe in being a victim. I don't believe in not taking ownership of my choices. But at that time, it was my first time dealing with depression. And so, like, all these different things that I experienced. But one of the things that stayed true, and this is where this all connects back to value and purpose. One of the things that I never stopped doing, no matter what I went through, was helping people. Think about all that. Or think about that. All those different things that I went through. No matter how much adversity I faced, no matter how much uh, trials and tribulations I went through, one of the things that I never stopped doing was helping others. And I was like, and I've always known that that was one of my main things. But today in that conversation, it hit me like harder than ever before. I realized that I'm so blessed. I'm blessed in that regard. Like, I don't see helping others as like, and me talking about it as like, I'm this great person or blah, blah, blah. That's my blessing. That's my blessing. I gain from that. It gives me my life's fulfillment. It gives me my purpose. And that's why I say that I believe that true value, what I value, our values, as they say, what are your values? What do I value? I value purpose. And what is my purpose? To help others. I've never stopped doing it, no matter what I've been through, no matter how upside down my life was. I never stopped helping others. And I say that as a message to you, not to speak on what a great guy I am. I'm saying that to express to you the truth of the fact that value and purpose and truth are one and the same. So, not everything you value will bring you purpose. But if you find your purpose, it will bring you value. Let that resonate. That's my truth. It's the how. Much love, respect, growth, prosperity, and happiness to all. It's the how, baby. Much respect. Peace.